Mr. Michael Graziosi, I appreciate you coming in today. We're going to sit down and, about a year or two ago, I started a series called The Mortgage Mindset. And the whole point of me starting that series was to bring on leaders in the real estate industry, whether it be, the mortgage side, like, what I do, and, or the real estate side, which I know you've seen success in. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to come here and sit down today and
Thank you.
chop it up a little bit. So why don't you give a little quick intro for the audience so they know who you are, and we'll kind of get right into things.
All right, cool. So my name is Michael Graziosi. I am a Redfin lead agent on Long Island. Really great company. I'm enjoying what I'm doing there, and been doing real estate for a number of years. Have 50 plus deals under my belt, and it's been really, really fascinating, great year moving forward. Yeah, so.
No, it's exciting. It's exciting to hear. Where did it all start with the real estate business? I know something I found out recently was that you were in photography for almost 30, 35 years, you said. What made you get into the real estate business? When did that all?
After COVID. COVID, I shut down my studio.
Okay.
Had a studio in Floral Park, Long Island, right on Jericho Turnpike for family business, 62 years.
Oh, wow.
And
62 years?
62 years. My
That's
dad
amazing.
opened our studio in 1959.
That's amazing.
He retired in 2002.
Wow.
And then in 2002, I took it over and ran it for another 18 years.
Wow.
And, was in a very people business.
Yeah, of course.
And, was a...
Well, you're a people person from my experiences, so
Well, thank
you're very
you.
personable, and
try.
You have that mentality. You need to be successful in sales, and I look at that as a sales business also, just like kind of what you and I do now. You're dealing with people, you're building relationships, you're getting them to use your services. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure that gave you a lot of the qualities that you have now, and is an attribute to the success you've seen in the real estate business.
Well, it definitely has been something that has come easy to me, working with people and getting people to really trust what I have going on. And by, being honest and being myself and not being a salesman has really amplified my success in building great client base.
Yeah,
So I'm really excited. 2024, best year ever.
That's what I was going to talk about, because not to cut you off, this has been one of the most challenging year or two that the real estate business has ever seen. Between buyers and sellers and mortgage rates, we've seen data that has posed challenges for most people, most realtors, most loan officers. I think there was some crazy stat that I talked about recently on one of the shows that 50, 60, or 70% of agents and loan officers didn't renew their license or won't renew it next year, because they haven't closed any business.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, what's been the answer for you that's allowed you to thrive in a market where, for the average, salesman, it's been challenging?
Well, I think it's educating my buyers and letting them know what it's going to take to win a bid, to get an accepted offer. Letting them know that it starts from the ground up. Just like when you build a house, you need to have a good foundation.
Right.
You have to have a pre-approval ready to go.
Correct.
You have to, be able to go out and see houses when they come up quickly. You need to be able to put forth an offer and know how to get the offer terms to be acceptable to the seller. And, I'm dealing with mostly buyers.
Yeah.
And I've closed 8 deals already for the year, have another 11 in my pipeline to close. I'm out there in the trenches with buyers, helping buyers get homes. So I'm really excited. It's been a really promising year. My best year in real estate, I did 19 deals. I'm at that now, and we're in April, the end of, just coming into May. So, I know how to get it done. I know how to put forth a great offer, and that's what it's all about.
No, that is. I agree. And I feel like sometimes, consumers and even professionals in our industry, sometimes look at, like you just said, you have to move quick. You have to put the offer in now. You have to see the house now, or somebody else is going to take up that opportunity. feel like sometimes people look at that as, you know, maybe you're pushing them, but no, that's just where life
Yeah,
is. That's where the market is.
Yeah, what I tell my buyers, and this is true every day, the real estate market waits for no one. You know, no, they're not waiting for you. Okay, so you know, you have to have a very well-oiled machine. You have to have the right loan officer. Thank you, Dean, for always being there for me, and my buyers, because you know I can call you on a Saturday night at freaking 9 o'clock, and you're picking up my call, and I do appreciate that.
No, and I appreciate the opportunity.
You know,
and I feel like just, you know, vice versa, you know, when I've worked with real estate professionals in the past, you know, and you speak to somebody, sometimes, you know, if it's the town they don't want to go to, or if it's too far, you know, sometimes, and for most people, they don't want to take that extra step. And when I speak to you on a Sunday at, you know, 3 o'clock or a Saturday night, and you're running around with buyers and clients, you know, that speaks, you know, as to why you have and why you're getting the results you're getting right now. You know, when most people are having
You got to put the work in. You got to put the work in, and it's not work. I mean, honestly, I love going to see houses. I love dealing with people. I love helping them, and I see it as such a challenge. You know, when I see that line of people on that open house, and it's like, wow, I can win this bid, and I'm going to beat every one of those people on that line.
Because we had going back a month or two ago, there was a deal that I think we beat 30-something offers on the property.
It was, and you made that deal happen because you were able to get us an appraisal. Yeah. And this is what the selling agent wanted. He wanted to know that, look, we want to be able to know that we're going to be able to have that appraisal ahead of time.
Yeah, no, I remember we rushed the appraisal. They didn't want to sign certain documents until they knew that you know,
we were
that's
good.
That's so crazy if you look at it, because, you know, you have a lot of sellers in this market that say, I'm not selling my house unless it's this number, but your house might not be worth that number. But the crazy part is I feel like there's always a buyer right now to pay that number. You know, no matter what it is.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. It is so true, and just having the right people and on your team.
Asaph always says that, you know, having the right people.
And I'm telling you, I have a great team. I have, you know, Dean from Hartford. I work with Asaph German. Stacy Mason in his front office is like killer. She gets it done like yesterday, and there is no amount of. You can't put a price tag on that. You need that in your pocket all day long. And I know that if she gets that contract, she is on it like no one's business. Yeah. And I owe all my successes to all the people I surround myself with.
And that's exactly what that's always been my thing, is that you can be successful on your own, but it's to get to that next level and to feel the way you feel. You know, that's what this is all about, you know, having a team around you, you know, of like-minded people that you can rely on, you know, on the days that you might not want to do it, the weekend or whenever it is. You know, who wants to do does somebody really, I enjoy it, you know, but most people don't want to stop what they're doing at 9:15 on Saturday to issue a pre-approval, and then your phone's not working, you have to go run to the office. There's no option, you know, when you commit to somebody and something, you know, and to people. You know, buying a house, you're dealing with so many sides and so many people and their emotions and their family and their kids, and there's so many moving parts that people don't realize, and inexperienced salesmen don't realize, because then I see it firsthand. They take it personal. You know, no. You know, you committed to helping a person accomplish whatever they wanted to accomplish, you know, purchasing a home, refinancing a home, buying an investment property, whatever the case may be. So it's my responsibility to make sure that happens, no matter what we have to do, you know, to make that happen. So
it has,
as long as it's within reach, of course.
It has definitely been something that I've really perfected, and again, it's educating those sellers and buyers, and letting them understand what it's going to take to get it done, and from the beginning, setting them up for success is the most important and paramount thing you can do as a buyer agent.
Agreed.
Is letting them make sure that they're looking for homes that are in their price point, that they're pre-approved for the amount of money that they're going to look at.
Exactly.
You know, and letting them, taking them through the steps to build that success sets you up for success.
1,000,000%. And it also, I feel like, having certain qualities as a person also is how you see success in this business. Because I'll give you an example. There's so many transactions where I'll speak to, there's a couple parts of the deal. You have the bank, you have the real estate side, you have the attorneys, there's a couple people involved or parties involved in the transaction that help it close. And I've seen so many, and this kind of goes back to what you were talking about having a great team. I've seen transactions in my career, at least, where you have one or two parties in a transaction that just don't want to cooperate. And what that means is, like right now, we know the market's challenging. Rates are a little higher than what they were the last couple of years. Still historically low, but higher than what people are used to. For a first-time home buyer, when you saw 3% and now it's 7.5%, you're like, what's going on? How am I going to make that payment? But I know, at least for Hartford and myself, when we deal with a client purchasing a home, there are so many instances where at the last second, the person's short $6,000, or the person, maybe I don't want to say they shouldn't be buying a home, because sometimes people go through things that correct themselves, but maybe the person, was expecting a gift from a family member, but now that gift, has an issue. We have
Stepped up?
we've stepped up so many times.
Really?
Yeah, so many times where I remember a story going back to when I was a loan officer for a few years. I think it was 2019, where it was New Year's Eve, and I had a family that was purchasing a home. The closing was scheduled, because they wanted to get it on for the year. And to make a long story short, the loan was $9,500 short to close, or whatever it was. Now, when somebody is not in our business, they might look at closing costs and they might think that that's what the bank makes. That's not the case. We wish that was what the bank makes, but there's obviously money in a transaction for the bank and the loan officer, because by law, everyone has to get paid. You have a contract and you get paid, whatever your agreement is. So to make a long story short, this person at the last hour, for whatever reason, had an issue with depositing funds or whatever it was, so they couldn't close. Now, I'm sitting there saying, I know what my contract is, so I know what I'm earning on this transaction if it closes. And then I'll speak to the bank, and we'll see what the bank is earning on that transaction, because I don't know what the bank earns, on every transaction. So to make a long story short, we ended up coming up with a lender credit of the $9,500 to help the person close on
very
that
nice.
transaction. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because I've had so many conversations where, us as the lender, we've credited money, we've helped pay for an appraisal, we've done whatever we can to help that person. And sometimes I feel like other parties might not look at it like it's real money, but no, that's real money. That's real money. It comes from somewhere. Those are the things you have to do, and that'll never change. Like those qualities, that just goes to life and in business. I would take the shirt off my back for anybody. So that translated into my business, and I feel like that's helped, my success, because who wants to work 4 months and make zero? Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that.
No.
But when
No
you
one
have
can afford to do that.
When you have a family with kids, and when you have people, involved, you'll do anything. At least I'll do anything, and I know you will.
I do.
Most realtors, I feel like, focus on just selling houses. There's some that love dealing with the buyers, but a majority would prefer a listing. You're sitting here saying you love working with buyers, which takes more time. You're going to deal with people that aren't
true.
really qualified if they haven't been pre-approved yet.
You're really
it's
very often dealing with from the ground up.
Yeah. So it takes more time and more nurturing, and that shows that you're fully committed to the business, because most people don't want to take that extra time. Maybe it takes 6 months, a year to actually close and find the person a home.
I have to tell you, it has not taken that long, thanks to you.
In this market, man, there's not, it's crazy when something happens.
No,
it
but
happens fast right now.
but you definitely get stuff done really quick, and it's why I recommend you, and I can depend upon you,
I appreciate that.
and appreciate this.
No,
and,
definitely, man. This was great. So I appreciate you taking the time.
No worries.
That's it, man. Let's
All
keep
right.
doing our
Good
thing,
to see
brother.
you.
Thank you, bro. All right, cool.